Ready when you are.
We're ready.
Okay, we'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes of the previously held meeting.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you, thank you. We don't have any public hearings today, so we'll move on to the rest of the agenda, past number 1. And number 13, this is the one that we have discussed. Reference the petition of Culture Retail Partners of Ohio. It's a dispensary, a medical marijuana dispensary at 1568 East Archwood Avenue. And we've taken some time on this, wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable with it. I think we are. We've had some correspondence, which is part of the record, I understand, correct? Thank you. And so any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? None?
I would just say I'm grateful to everyone for their time and allowing us to do some research on this, and I'll vote yes.
Okay, thank you, Sharon Connor. Ward 10 councilperson that encompasses this conditional use request. So with that, I'll entertain a recommendation for approval.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Wait.
Mr. Chair, I just want to confirm that this is going to be item number 10 on the agenda. Item number 13 is the actual petition. Number 10 is the ordinance.
Thank you very much for pointing that out. Okay. Then we'll start, well, thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you.
So this is item number 10 to make sure it's very clear to everyone that is the petition. So that would be a file. So this is item number 10, and this is the actual conditional use to establish a medical marijuana dispensary at 1568 East Archwood Avenue. Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. Hearing none, the ayes have it. Okay, then we'll file item number 13. And item number 14, this is reference the short-term rentals, and which I'm going to ask for 1 week. And we will ask for a vote next Monday. Just to make it clear for everyone, this is a substitute that was offered as an amendment, but we will be asking for a vote next week. So as long as everyone understands that and gets all their questions in so that we can then vote on item number 14 next week for sure. As well as we'll take time on everything up and including 17, again, which is going to be 1 week's time. This is the registration piece of the short-term rentals, okay? And then 18, we will take time on. And 19, I'm going to request that we file. We voted on that a couple weeks ago, so just go ahead and we'll file that item. And item number 20, this is the one that references some changing in terms of the zoning map in the downtown area, which is an area on East Mill Street. It basically runs, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Antonucci, on the west side of the railroad track area there. And it's changing it more with the actual uses within that particular area. And we've had some time, asked everyone to look this over. I'm going to recommend consent agenda, and just so everybody will have one more opportunity to question before we actually vote on it next Monday. Okay? All right, is there a recommendation for consent agenda?
Motion for consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Okay, very good. The ayes have it. All right, with that, we will then take time on the balance of the agenda, and we'll move into the new list of legislation. Okay, Sarah Viviani, you want to read those in? Thank you.
Item number 2 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an automated car wash facility on George Washington Boulevard, south of East Waterloo Road, and declaring an emergency.
Advertise for public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Item number 3 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a Starbucks on East Waterloo Road, east of George Washington Boulevard, and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of advertising for a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Item number 4 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a collision repair center at 1535 Vernon Odom Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Very good, the ayes have it.
Item number 5, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an oversized garage at 845 Chinook Avenue and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of a public hearing signify by saying aye.
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 Very good, the ayes have it.
Item number 6 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to place an oversized internally illuminated EMC sign at 1350 Virginia Avenue and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Very good, the ayes have it.
Item number 7, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish an emergency youth shelter at 845 Crouse Street and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 8, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A daycare at 899 Baird Street and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor of a public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Thank you, the ayes have it.
Item number 9, ordinance approving the sale of city-owned land located south of Copley Road between Frederick Boulevard and Nome Avenue to Goshen House Interdenominational Church, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
Yes, thank you. Number 9, please.
Yes, Goshen House purchased the...
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you pull the microphone closer? Those that are joining us remotely will need, thank you.
Sorry about that. Goshen House International is a church on Copley Road. The new pastor and their congregation purchased it in the last several years. There's an adjacent vacant lot that the city recently acquired. They've been pursuing to acquire it for use as an outdoor gathering area. When they initially requested to obtain the lot, it was owned by the Summit County Land Bank, and we had a contract with them to acquire it. So we're just asking to transfer this directly for the costs that we paid to the land bank to the church.
Oh, equal cost?
Yes.
Very good. Did you talk to the ward council person on this?
I believe that Pastor Nevins reached out to the ward council person.
Very good, thank you. Questions or comments? Okay, very good. Is consent agenda okay on this?
That would be appreciated.
Good, I'd like to entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Motion for consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Hearing none, we'll place that on the consent agenda this evening. Number 10?
Item number 10 is an ordinance approving the sale of city-owned land located east of Rhodes Avenue, west of Bell Street, and south of South Maple Street to K. Havanian Ohio Operations LLC, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
And this is the infill housing project that I believe most of you have seen in the newspaper. We'd submit it to you, request that you take time on it, and be willing to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Is there any questions or comments at this time reference this? From anyone? Mr. Malik?
Thank you very much. I was glad to read about this. I think that, we all want to see more infill housing in our neighborhoods. I did have a couple of questions, one from a resident and then a couple that were my own. The first is that I assume that, this would be completed using the tax abatement. So in this case, just to confirm again for my resident, that the property owner, once we sold this land, would be responsible for the taxable value of the land, of the undeveloped land, and then the tax abatement would then apply to, the costs and the value after construction. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. And then one of the questions that I had was around green building standards. So are there going to be any green building standards required as part of this? And is that something that was considered, as part of this proposal?
That is a great question. I can discuss further with Kehavanian to see what exactly they're doing along those lines. I understand that they're meeting all of our building codes and trying to do this in a cost-effective and efficient manner. I would assume that they have considered some of those, but I'm not sure exactly how to answer that without discussing with them first.
Okay, I know that a similar infill housing proposal in Cleveland has their own green building standards that they've taken from, I think, the enterprise community standards, which are national standards. So that might be, something that we could consider here. I know we kind of, we talk about this in each time there's a specific project, but I think it would be helpful to get kind of ahead of it. And then the other question is, I believe these are all going to be market rate. Do we have a sense of what that market rate is going to be? And then was there the consideration of having some of these be affordable?
There have been discussions about having some of them be affordable. We haven't yet found a suitable pathway forward with funding to do that. As far as the market rate goes, we're anticipating, well, I should say Kehavanian is anticipating that they're going to range in the probably $230,000 to $270,000, depending on actual costs of materials and construction at the time.
Okay, so the discussions about whether some of them would be affordable are ongoing?
That is correct.
Okay, and so will something like that be determined before we're going to vote on this?
We should have an answer to that before you vote to approve the sale.
Okay, thank you very much.
Further questions or comments? Very good. Is there a motion to refer?
Motion to refer.
Second, all those in favor of referring signify by saying aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Chair, can you confirm that your microphone's on? Oh, maybe they can't hear. I'm sorry, I was getting some looks. I thought they couldn't hear you.
Okay, thank you. We're
Thank
good?
you.
Okay. All those in favor of referring signify by saying aye.
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 Against? Very good. The item will be referred. Item number 11.
Item number 11 is an ordinance adopting the 2023 Capital Investment and Community Development Program, legally referred to as the Capital Investment Budget, and declaring an emergency.
Yes, I understand next week, the 31st, we will have the first budget hearing at 4 o'clock. And it will be everything, we will be referring everything but the utilities portion, which comprises of quite a bit of the budget, of the capital budget. And then on the 7th of November, we'll then be reviewing the utilities portion, excuse me, which is pretty exciting for everyone, the utilities portion of the capital budget. So that will be occurring on the 7th. So, so I would like to, at this point, though, entertain a motion to refer, short of any questions or comments.
Motion to refer.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Very good. We will refer that item, and with this, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee of the day will be the Rules Committee. That will begin at 2 o'clock. Those committee members are Freeman, Fusco, Amobian, Connor, and Malik. Again, that's the Rules Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Thank you.